This meeting is being recorded.
Next slide, please. These are the top 12 colleges that our students have applied to over the past 4 or 5 years. No surprise there. All the big in-state public universities. We've been getting a lot of RIT and Pitt and a couple universities out in Massachusetts that are becoming popular. But these are the top 12 colleges that our students have been applying to since we started graduating students in the year 2020. Next slide, please. Colleges that ever accepted our students, right? So the very first year we started graduating students was 2020, that first cohort. And that was only 22 students we had graduating with Arlington Tech in the year 2020. Of course, the graduation ceremony, unfortunately, was online. But they kind of planted the seed as far as college applications and acceptances. And you can see here by this illustration, we've grown from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way to Alaska, Hawaii. And this graphic does not show some of the European colleges, but we are over the pond in Europe also. Next slide. For our stat geeks here are some of our numbers going back to the class of 2021. These are scattergrams, and this is public access information. All of us and our students, we all have access to this through our School Links account, which is our new APS College and Career platform. So you can see the scattergram for George Mason University. We do pretty well at George Mason University. Next slide. Virginia Tech, we are yearly, we're either at the county standard or above the county standard as far as college application acceptances at Virginia Tech. Typically, we're 40, 41, 42% acceptance rate. And some parents here on the call have students that attend Virginia Tech currently. Next call. James Madison, not a huge draw for our STEM students, but still a very popular college in Virginia. You can see our numbers there. VCU, we absolutely do great at VCU. Our students take advantage of their engineering programs, their video production programs, all great CTE classes that we offer through the Arlington Career Center. And the last slide here, I just happen to mention RIT because the numbers have gone up the past couple of years. I think there is a parent or two who also have children at this college. RIT, we've been having great success in applying to RIT over the past couple of years. You can see the numbers there. Next slide, please. Okay, this is my college visit schedule. We just had Johns Hopkins last week, Christopher Newport, James Madison, Randolph-Macon today. And you can see the schedule for the rest of the school year. All these colleges, most of these colleges are in my office at random times throughout the day. We still have SUNY Binghamton is coming for any of us who are from upstate New York on this call. Of course, I know there's a few of us. William and Mary still to come, ODU, UVA, Mary Washington. And NVCC, we're starting for the students that are going to go to NOVA. We have our NOVA workshop starting in February, starting with information sessions, application workshops, next steps, open office hours, etc. Next slide, please. High school preparation timeline for any freshmen are on the call. These are some of the things that students and families can do to prepare. I'll let you read that. I also go into a lot of the ninth grade classrooms, and I don't talk to the students that much about college in ninth grade. I do touch on it, but most of my discussions with the ninth graders are about how to calculate GPA, what your graduation requirements are, having a balanced schedule, not being overwhelmed at school, and really trying to get off to the right foot. Next slide. All the cool stuff 10th graders can do. Some of the things I work with the 10th graders, we start resume writing in 10th grade. We do some career assessments in 10th grade. I go through all the SDV 100 classes, and we start registering and getting students signed up for whatever dual enrollments they're taking in 11th grade. Next slide. 11th grade is where a lot of the action happens, and that's where you're going to get a lot of increased communication from me as far as different workshops available to students. We start out with March Madness, college application research, college research in March. I have them start their college applications in April. Of course, they can always come see me if they want to really are eager or want to start sooner. But we do teacher recommendations, counselor recommendations, all the different components. We try to focus on a different component each month, second semester of junior year. We do a little bit of work in the summer for those who read emails or look at my messages, and then we hit the ground running senior year with college applications. Senior year, that's what I'm currently doing now, right? So I think so far this year we have over almost 600 unique individual college applications to process. FYI, I'm the one that sends the transcripts to the colleges. I work with your students on making sure their deadlines are set, recommendations are in, and I work with the students and teachers and everybody, parents, of course, in making sure all the documents are set in a timely manner. We do a college session early on in the school year. We did a college essay writing night session. We're going to do a how to pay for college session next year. So really a lot of information for our seniors to get them through the application cycle. Just a quick plug on some of the resources available. We have the new Arlington Tech website, which looks great. If you click on college and career and you click on my face, you're going to end up going to my college and career page where I post a lot of resources. Check it out. It doesn't get many clicks, but there's like so much information out there that you can really get this information in a lot of different places. On the bottom, that's a plug for my YouTube channel where I started making different videos that students can access about. I posted my college information night, how to request teacher recommendations, connecting your Common App account with school links. When students do that, I can see if and when they submit. I can look at deadlines, sign off on early decision agreements, just a bunch of other fun stuff. Next slide. Should be the end, I hope. Yes. Okay. That's my face again. And that's all I got for you today. Anybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, contact me directly, and I will get back to you as soon as I could.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We want to go to the next slide. We are going to have a little bit of a parent panel along with Mr. Duraco. Heidi, how did you
Exactly.
want to
And
run
Mr.
this?
Duraco,
Yeah.
I think I muted you by mistake, so apologies for
Oop.
that at the very end there.
Oop.
Okay.
I'm gonna have so we have Mr. Duraco who's gonna be part of our panel, and we also have Maggie Verona. Did I pronounce your name wrong, Maggie? Tell me.
Nope, you got it.
I got it. And we have Shayna Hadley and Sam Haberlach, and we are so thrilled to have you all here today. And what we're gonna do is this. I'm gonna start off by sort of asking each of the parents. We've heard from Mr. Duraco, and I personally have about 5 additional questions for you. So I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna start off by by first having Maggie, then Shayna, then Sam, just very briefly tell us a little bit about your college experience. You know, what or career. Like as you sent a kid off post graduation, who did you send off? Where did they go? What was that experience like? And what was your biggest lesson learned from that process? As we're going through that, I would encourage every parent on this screen to be thinking like, what are the questions I have? Think of this as like your best friend sent their kid to college 3 years in front of you. This is your opportunity to really get those lessons learned, that sort of inside scoop. So then after the 3 parents are done, we're going to open it up and you can direct a question to Mr. Duraco. You can direct a question to any of the parents and just throw those questions in the chat as we go, and feel free to throw them in as they're talking and I will moderate that. So Maggie, I'll turn it over to you to start.
Sure, thanks so much. Maggie Verona, I've had 2 children at Arlington Tech. So my oldest, Theo, graduated in 2023. He's currently a junior at Virginia Tech, studying mechanical engineering. He did graduate with the associate's degree, so he walked into Virginia Tech with 66 credits, which was crazy. What else? He applied to about 10 schools. He got into the vast majority. Um, yeah, it was a good experience. My middle son is a current senior and is in the process now. So it's all very fresh.
And if you had to say one sort of lesson learned, something that you wish you knew before you started, but you know now?
Um, the there are a lot of details in the Common App that creep up on you. Like the Common App, from when my oldest applied, they've changed the website, and now when you drill into each college, there are a lot of sub things that need to be filled out. So that takes a minute. And then for those of you whose kids are graduating with an associate's degree, the credits transfer, but the grades don't. So it can be a little bit of a shock to their GPA when they roll into college as a freshman and are taking junior level classes. Go light freshman year on the number of credits they register for.
This is great advice. Thank you, Maggie. Shayna, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Thanks. So my oldest son graduated from Tech in 2023. He is at VCU. He's a junior and is in his first year of nursing school. And he's loving it. So that's wonderful. And he's with a bunch of other kids from Tech too. He's rooming with 3 other kids from Tech. So that was pretty cool. They had a little community down there. And then I have a current junior, so getting ready to move into this process next year. I think the biggest lesson learned, as Maggie had said, just like setting aside enough time so you're not scrambling to get things done last minute. One thing that we ended up running into with Liam was that at some point he did not want his dad and I involved in like doing the essays and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up actually getting an educational coach for a little bit to like just help him go through that process. He was fine with us doing visits and stuff, but when it came to the essay, I don't know why, it became a real big source of tension, and it was just worth it to have somebody work with him for a few sessions to get those college essays done. So if you have that ability, that sometimes can be helpful. But there's lots of resources at the school too. Mr. Duraco, some of the teachers also looked over his essays. So there's lots of people at Tech that are willing to help out.
That is great advice. And yeah, I think those college essays can sometimes be a tension point. So I really appreciated all those possibilities you just shared. Thank you so much, Shayna. Sam, tell us about your situation.
Hi, everybody. I feel like I know Mr. Draco. I know I've never actually met you, but my daughter Jana, she knows you very well. My daughter graduated in 2024 from Arlington Tech, and now she is at Virginia Tech. But I literally heard her say Mr. Draco's name so many times her last 2 years. So, I mean, I would say to be successful, the kids need to really think about, don't wait until their junior year to start looking at different schools. Start going to those schools and doing the tour visits way early, because that really helped Jana and I we didn't end up going to enough schools. I mean, luckily we did go to Virginia Tech, so she saw it and she loved it, but and she's happy there. So we were lucky. But I think thinking back, if I had wanted her to be more comfortable with her decision, I would have taken her to more schools and started a little earlier with the trips to the different optional schools that are out there for her. I did like the Common App. I thought that was really helpful for her. Just so everybody knows, the Common App really does make it so much easier. So she told me she wanted to apply to like 10 different schools, and I'm like, what? Because back when we were kids, it wasn't that easy to apply to 10 different schools. So really, it makes it better. but you're right, there are quite a few differences between a couple of the schools are going to want you to have a lot of, some very specific things, or they have to write an essay about that, answering those questions specifically. I will say about the essays, my daughter didn't want me to help at all with any of it. She didn't want me to help her with her interview prep. She didn't want me to help her with essays. She didn't want that from me. But what I did, I found friends who went to those schools. And I said, "Hey, let's have you want to go to this school. Let's meet this person, their daughter graduated, or they went to this school, or this school, or this school." I mean, she didn't take me up on the MIT offer because I knew somebody who went to MIT. She decided not to go for MIT. But everybody else, if it was an essay, I looked around my network and said, what adult graduated from that school? And then she was totally open to that, talking to those graduates from those schools. So that'd be one thing that I could say about the essays to help your child out. And the last thing is, you're right, not every transfer from Nova will work for every school. Sometimes they make them still test when they get to the school. And if they don't test well because they haven't touched calculus,
The parents whose kids have gone to college, talking about the process.
sorry. If she didn't remember some of the calculus over the summer and then she had to test to keep the calculus credit, and that didn't, it's very strenuous tests, and she had to get 80% or higher, and she didn't make it at that school, so she had to take calc again. But everything else worked really well. And she's doing industrial systems engineering at Virginia Tech.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you. Okay. I do have one question. I'm going to ask a question for Mr. John.
Oh, okay. I love it. Like, turn it on its head. Actually, Sam,
Whenever-
I'm going to hold off on your question and start with the questions that are in the chat, but you keep yours because I'm coming back to you. I love that. But I really appreciated what you said, particularly about how do we use our network, and I think that that's also true throughout this, throughout this network of parents and other people at Virginia Tech. There's a lot of students who have gone a lot of places, and I found when my kids were there, it's really nice for them to talk to other students too. But I love the idea of traveling early. Somebody once told me, start the minute you're in high school, any vacation you go on, think, are there any schools near there? Like, let's just do a little drive by. So I think that's really fun. I appreciate that. And I'm going to take this top question for you, I think, Mr. Duraco. It's for students interested in applying for universities abroad. Should they consider taking AP exams as self-study?
I think one of the things is in looking at some of their applications, it seems that they do have an emphasis on AP classes. It's a question that often pops up. It's something that can definitely help their applications. They're not going to take our dual enrollment classes. They will take some of the AP classes. So, like if students are prepared, they could take some SAT subject tests if they want to be more of a competitive applicant to the schools overseas. Definitely.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a great answer. Has anybody else here had any experience with, students self-studying for AP exams or anything like that? All right. And then it looks like Joanna had a question for you, Maggie, which is, did Virginia Tech accept all those credits, and what impact did that have on the courses they took their first year? And I think Sam may have something to say about that too, but I'll let Maggie start.
Sure, yeah. So, even though there wasn't a one-to-one transfer necessarily of all the credits, so like, for example, my son took auto tech, which there wasn't an equivalent class at Virginia Tech. Once you get the associate's degree, they will, it counts as 60 credits. So like, they're not going to say, oh, well, this class doesn't transfer and this class doesn't transfer. Like, it comes in as an associate's degree on the transcript, and that transcript equates to 60 credits. So it doesn't have, you don't necessarily have to map them one for one. He will start as whoever your son or daughter would start as a junior. In terms of how it affected the classes they took freshman year, so I think Theo went in thinking, oh, this is great. I'm 2 years done. I'll go for 4 years, but I'll get like a master's in 4 years. What he didn't realize is that engineering specifically, and not to be too specific to my son, but I have a feeling we're a lot of STEM students that are going to be interested in engineering. Engineering has a very prescribed order that things have to go in and prereqs that are mapped out, some only in the fall, some only in the spring. So what he ended up doing was rather than necessarily graduating early, so he'll graduate in 4.5 years with a master's. So he is still going to do it a little bit early, but it couldn't be as fast as he thought because certain things had to be done in a certain order. And then what it did mean was that he has like normally an engineering degree is 17 credits or 18 credits a semester. He's rocking like 12, 15 credit semesters because all the electives are done. So at least at Virginia Tech, like the associate's degree basically checked the box for every elective. Double-edged sword there, right? He first semester freshman year, he took 16 credits of engineering courses and learned the hard way that like, wow, that was hard, right? And so now he is doing the like 3 or 4 core like mechanical engineering classes a semester, and then a fun one if he wants to take a fun one, or just keeping a light load and focusing on getting his GPA up. While
Thank
he
you.
does that.
Sam, did you want to add in, or Gina?
Yeah, that was just about perfect because Jana had a similar idea. She graduated with, I think, 40 credit hours. And if you don't have the associate's degree, it is a 1-for-1. So if they didn't accept something like calc for Jana, then they made her take it again, so they didn't count that. So it has to be a 1-for-1. Every single thing that she did had to equate to something, if you don't have that associate's degree. Good to know the other option though. But what I will say is, she had an idea in mind that she would get it all done in 5 years, her master's degree too. And like you said, it slows the path that you want to take. And if you want to have any fun classes too, it can get overwhelming if you're taking all really hard classes. So she ended up spreading that back out over 4 years. So she did come in with 30 hours, but she's not graduating early. She's going to graduate. She's going to graduate on time at 4 years with the bachelor's degree. I'm hoping everything goes well. Going good so far, but my biggest thing is can't pressure her. She'll go at her speed and she'll get it done. But she has had to change some of that plan because it's pretty tough. Some of the stuff's pretty tough.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing from Sam and Maggie, and as someone who has a college sophomore, it coincides with my own. It's like that first semester, freshman year, that is a tough semester. They think they sometimes are a little bit more confident in their abilities than or they bite off more than they can chew, I guess.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to emphasize here though, it wasn't hard because the dual enrolled classes didn't prepare him. Like they were rigorous and they prepared him. And in many ways, he was more prepared than other freshmen coming in because he knew how to read a syllabus. He understood that the first day he was going to get like deadlines dumped on him where like you weren't like that deer in headlights. I think what was overwhelming was taking 16 credits of junior level engineering classes first semester freshman year, if that makes sense. So like, I don't want people to think like, oh, wait a minute, weren't the dual enrollment classes preparing him? No, they were. They just weren't preparing him for like, what do they call it? The 3Ds of death, like fluid dynamics and the mechanics of deformable bodies, right? At age 18. So like, I think part of it too is the maturity that comes like by junior year, they've learned how to study. They've learned how to live away from home. They've learned how to deal with a dorm and a roommate, to pile junior level classes on top of all of that other adjustment.
I don't know if Virginia Tech says this, but I know my daughter's at William and Mary, and for kids who come in with extra credits, they do some classifying them as their social class versus what they come in with the credits, because they know they still want to keep them in their where their brain is, their social class, that they're actually freshmen, even if they have junior level academics, they have to, they switch them back and forth for certain things because they have to make that distinction that they're not really ready for everything to be social juniors or, you know, versus
Yeah,
freshmen.
and that's interesting. And that might be the difference between a big school like Virginia Tech and a smaller school. At Virginia Tech, like you're just like, oh, great, you have 60 credits, you're a
You're a
junior.
junior.
In
Yeah.
some ways was good because then he was able to register for classes faster. He was able to declare his major faster. There were definitely advantages to it. And if for the people on the call, if your kid is not taking a bajillion dual enrolled credits, like it's fine. There are pros and cons to both. I know we all like to push our kids and panic when we think there's a million different paths here. There are ways for all of them to be successful. But yeah, Virginia Tech didn't even have like a distinguishing.
Right. Yeah. William and Mary being smaller, they've
Right,
made,
maybe
they've
that's nice.
learned to, yeah, it's nice that they've learned to, they, it's not that they separate it, but they've made certain distinctions for what they can do and what they, you know, versus academics versus the other things on campus that they keep them socially, you know.
Well, and
Freshmen.
thank you, Jody, because that actually takes me to sort of my next question. And please do feel free, anyone, to put questions in the chat if you have them. But we've talked a bit about academics and we've talked about course schedules, but of course there's part of college applications that really is drawing on extracurriculars. So I would be interested in maybe starting with Mr. Duraco and then going to Shayna, and then you know, if Maggie or Sam wanted to chime in on sort of, I've heard, you know, that, you know, you can be across the board or you can have the spike, meaning like you're really good at one thing and then everything else is down. What do you tell students about extracurriculars, Mr. Duraco, and what they should be thinking about?
I basically tell them to do what's in their comfort zone. Do what they can absorb. Don't do too many different activities to try to accumulate quantity, right? It's more about quality. I let students know that if they have jobs, that's really high on the list of activities that colleges want to see, that you're working. Boy Scouts, things that are more long-term, they have more of a long-term effect instead of being part of this club for 1 year and this club for 1 year and this club for 1 year. So it really depends on the students, you know, it depends on what their interests are. But to me, I've seen more success when it comes down to quality versus quantity of activities.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. And Shayna, I want to let you have a chance to speak. I don't know if you have experience, you know, what your experience was with extracurriculars. I know you talked a little bit about filling out, or your child filling out that Common App, and I know that actually it's a bit of a surprise with the Common App. You're spending some time thinking about those activities and how to describe them. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that experience or the extracurriculars in general?
Sure, yeah. Liam, for his experience in particular, he, you know, he had a job, so he had some experience in that way, and actually his employer ended up being one of his references for his college application as well. He also had been in Taekwondo since he was like 8 and was helping to teach some younger kids, you know, Taekwondo. He did the adaptive classes, so kids with special needs. So he really loved that. And then he was on the track. He did EMT, and so he got his EMT license in the spring. So he kind of just had a couple of things that he really focused on, but he really enjoyed. So, and I think all those things were really helpful. Those folks, adults and leaders in those particular activities were the people that were writing his letters, so they had known him over a period of years. So I think that was very helpful for him.
That's great. Thank you so much. Maggie or Sam, I know we have another question in the chat, but Maggie or Sam, just wanted to give you an opportunity to weigh in on anything related to extracurriculars in terms of advice or things that you sort of were thinking about or your kids were thinking about.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much the same. I'd say start thinking about that sooner. Like it's been really interesting to watch. I have a sophomore who's at Yorktown watching his two older brothers do this and like, oh my God, I'm behind. Like he's already like panicking. He's like, I just didn't realize. Like I didn't think, people going to freshman year, they don't think it matters. And what I tell him is, listen, don't be doing things for a college, do things for you, but be doing something. Like he was a football player freshman year, decided to give that up. I'm like, I think that's fine. You shouldn't play if you don't want to play, but don't give it up and then like be on Clash Royale all day, every day. Right. So that I think was helpful. I've heard from a couple different admissions counselors that they really don't look past the top 3 to 5. Like the Common App lets you list 10. And I think we all feel pressure to list all 10. And I've heard from some of the college admissions people that they're like, yeah, people just tend to fill them in with stuff that's meaningless. We look at the top 3 to 5. So don't feel like you have to like, oh, I need to fill 10 spots. Let me go find a cup something else to stick in here just for the sake of sticking it in, because you put the name, you put the description, but then you put how much time you spent. So they're not all treated equally. Like if you're doing something 5 hours a week and you've done it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year, they're gonna see that. So, and then I just saw in the chat about requiring the SATs. Yeah, they're requiring them. A lot of them are. I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them are starting to. I'd say it's about 50-50 for the schools. My senior is applying to. He's applying to 14 schools, and I want to say like half are requiring the SAT now.
And Mr. Duraco, would you add anything to that in terms of the SATs or ACTs?
No, like Maggie said, there has been a slight uptick the past couple application cycles of colleges that are going to require the SAT again. For our current senior class, I think more than half of them, the class of 2026, more than half of them have an SAT score on file, which is bigger percentages from the past couple years, because I think students are understanding that SAT is going to be required for a lot of schools. And if it's not required on the admissions side of things, they can use that number to qualify for different scholarships. So I think the word is spreading that the SAT is kind of coming back. You can also go to any of the college's website and look up what their test optional policies are. Many of the ones are many still are test optional, but it's definitely a number that can strengthen an applicant.
So in terms of the SATs, what's your recommendation about, I think you mentioned this in one of your slides, when would you sort of suggest that students start taking the SAT?
Probably after the PSAT, following their junior year.
Okay.
Especially after they get past like Algebra 2. You want to make sure you maximize the math sections on the SAT. So definitely be past Algebra 2 intensified. And that kind of oftentimes, depending on their math timeline, coincides with junior year.
Okay, great advice. And then I've got a question here about teacher recommendations. Do students usually have just one teacher recommendation or two? And I will add to that question, can you review exactly how the school wants those done? I think that that's different at different schools. Like I know when I had a Yorktown senior, it was like, oh, you have to do it by this time of day, this time of the year, and you have to do it very formally. I don't know what the sort of like the norm is at Arlington Tech.
So I don't think it's much different at Arlington Tech than the other high schools. I always recommend 2 letters of recommendation. Some colleges want 0, some want 1, some want 2. So it's going to vary from college to college. And I always tell students it's always good to have 2 in your back pocket, especially down the road when you're applying for other things that require recommendations. So get those early and you can apply them for college scholarships and other programs. Typically when students are juniors, they start thinking about the teachers they're going to ask, and they may plant the seed with some of their teachers junior year and then follow up senior year with a re-ask, and then we send them the official link through whatever platform we're using at the time. The teacher writes the recommendation, sends it back to the platform, which connects to their colleges.
That's great information. Thank you so much. Two more questions in the chat here about, one is about the ACT. Does Arlington Tech offer people to a chance to take that practice ACT? How do kids know which to take? And should students study for the SATs and how? And I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll let you kind of hit the highlights of that, but I also know Mr. Duraco welcomes emails. So
Yeah, definitely. So we're ACT versus SAT. They're formatted differently. The language is a little different between the two tests. My advice is go to each website, take a practice exam, see how it feels, and then go forward from there. Do we offer ACT practice? No, we don't. I don't know where in the county. I don't think APS offers ACT or PSAT practice. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it, but you would think I would know. Most people hire a private company. Most people just rely on the resources that are on the SAT website. But I know parents and students always want like a coach, a teacher, and there are things that you can pay for to get those services, but there is a lot out there that's free online, including the PSAT, not limited to.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. And I thank so much not only Mr. Duraco for coming in on a weekday night, which when he doesn't have to be working, we're very grateful, but also Maggie, Shana, and Sam for them. I think it's really nice to hear from parents. Is a slightly different perspective, and I'm just very, very grateful to all of you. So thank you so much. And with that, I will pass it back over to Jody to finish us off.
We have the slides come back up. I'm not sure what is next. I think we have maybe just finishing up with our schedule for the last couple meetings here.
As we're getting set up, can I just say two things very fast?
Yes, please.
I want to just reiterate that Frank Duraco is one of the most responsive people in our building. He will get back to you immediately, and he's awesome at talking to students and kids. By senior year, all the students know him very well, and he really works to have one-on-one relationships with the kids. So he does an amazing job. I also want to just shout out Maggie. I put this in the comments as well. Maggie Verona was ATAC chair in 23-24 school year.
Yeah.
Did an outstanding job, and I'm so happy to see her here. So I just want to say,
and she did this last minute. I texted her last night
Oh,
to come on here. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Questions? I think the next one has our schedule for, yep. So this is our next couple of meetings. So November, as I mentioned, in person, then back in December, we will not make you go out in the cold. So come back in for some Zoom, and on from there, we will move any other meetings around should we decide to have another in-person gathering in the future. Yes, we will definitely share Mr. Duraco's, this whole slide presentation here, the whole Zoom meeting will be shared out as a link in the future when we compile all the notes together as well. So that will come out in a Parent Square email from Dr. Van Laer. We will compile everything together, so not to worry. And with that, I think we are done for the evening. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good night.
Good night.
Just wanted to say thank you again, Shana and Sam and Mr. Duraco. It was really very kind of you, especially Shana and Sam coming in last minute.
Okay. You might want to stop the recording.
Oh yeah, that's right. We didn't do that last time. Stop.